Welcome back, and thanks for being here on this 21st day of September. I say that with a little pause because today is the last day of summer, and I'm having a little hard time with that. I like fall. I'm welcoming fall and the cooler temperatures, but summer's been kind of short-lived in a lot of ways. We'll welcome fall in full fashion tomorrow in every way possibly except the weather. Still no major changes. Still warm and dry conditions for the next several days. An updated forecast, though, is forthcoming. Headlines tonight will include more details on the Johnson County drug roundup that took place last week and how a McGoffin County man was one of those arrested. We'll also talk about the trial that did begin today, a federal trial for Paintsville Mayor Bob Porter, and what we can tell you at this hour. Also, the McGoffin County Board of Education met last evening. We'll have that report to follow this evening as well, and some other news and information. Beginning with tonight's report from the governor's office, Bevin saying that Kentucky has now officially joined a lawsuit that challenges new federal overtime rules. The governor saying that should the new rule be put in place, it would more than double the minimum salary overtime threshold for both public and private employees without congressional authorization, and it would also force Kentucky to increase their employment costs. In his statement, a partial or a portion of that statement, he says this new Obama administration rule is another example of the federal government's never-ending attempt to encroach upon the rights of individual states. This is a direct violation of the 10th Amendment of the Constitution to the United States, and the result of this unfunded mandate by the federal government would be to force many private sector employers to lay off workers, and that is not acceptable. Kentucky now is the 22nd state to officially join in that lawsuit. All right, a few words of caution, I think, are deserved with the following report. Warnings are starting to be posted across Kentucky and possibly elsewhere about clown sightings and the prevention thereof. And I'm sad to say that they're sadly needed in regards to those warnings. Of course, this is a report that's been ongoing now for days, and when I first saw the first account of the creepy clowns, I was reluctant and made no mention of it on the program. I knew any doing so would just further the situation, add fuel to the fire, and we would see more foolishness continue, and that has been the case. However, with events in McGoffin County last night reported to 911, it does dictate that we at least mention it on the program tonight, as we are obligated to do for everyone's safety. Last night after dark, it was reported to 911 by a motorist who was traveling on Route 30 near the junction of Route 30 and Mill Branch that three individuals dressed in clowns with flashlights were jumping out in front of cars and traffic. The McGoffin County Sheriff's Deputy Stephen Montgomery responded to the scene and found nothing. By that point, not doubting the motorist's accounts, but by the time he arrived, there was no one looking or resembling any sort of a clown with a flashlight. They had obviously left the scene upon his arrival. The primary reason for my mentioning this tonight is a word of caution to parents who may not know that their child might be doing something that they think is funny, that might get them a little attention and a little bit of time in the spotlight, and not realize is as dangerous indeed as it is in so many ways. And let's face it, a lot of folks do get weirded out by clowns, especially the creepy ones at that. So a word of caution to parents, as it does appear as though this trend is catching and spreading, and we have seen it officially happen on some level here in McGoffin County. So, and it might not be kids, could be older folks. Let's hope it's just children. Not that we want them being out there, but it's hard to imagine adults not having enough sense not to do something quite so foolish. So you might want to check under the beds for big red noses, big red shoes, or fuzzy colored wigs. It's the best advice we can have. But indeed, a silly situation that has so much seriousness around it that it needs to be a word of warning tonight, as many local governments are taking it to that point at this hour. We'll keep you posted as much as we can on that front, and hopefully that will be the last mention of it on the local level. We'll see. Johnson County Sheriff Dwayne Price told us days ago about a drug raid that took place in Johnson County. It's still ongoing technically, as some of the individuals are still being sought. We have their identity as well as more information on those who were arrested, and that does include a McGoffin County man who was jailed and still is on serious drug and other related charges, facing several serious counts of trafficking a controlled substance and being a persistent felony offender. He was one of the 5 initial individuals that were indicted on a total of 23 charges. 8 of those charges against 3 of those individuals for selling drugs within 1,000 feet of a Johnson County school, all part of an over years-long investigation by the Johnson County Sheriff's Department.
Probably between a year, 14, 15 months long investigation. What we have done, we've made multiple buys off all 5 of these people we're getting to pick up. 3 of the 5 sold some kind of narcotic drugs within 1,000 yards of a school, which will enhance those charges.
Initially, during the roundup, 2 people were picked up and arrested, those being Brian Chase Cantrell, who was arrested on burglary in the 3rd, being a persistent felony offender and a parole violation. Also arrested was an Amanda Mead for burglary charges as well. A Sagersville man was also involved in the roundup and one of the 3 initially arrested. However, he was not found in Johnson County, or Sagersville, Magoffin for that matter, but Roy Keith Allen of Sagersville, 39 years of age I believe, was found in Floyd County and arrested by the Floyd County Sheriff's Department and brought to the Big Sandy Detention Center on 4 counts of trafficking in a controlled substance and 4 counts of being a persistent felony offender. As of airtime today, we confirm that there are still other individuals being sought after, and they've been identified this evening as Diana Hackworth, William Mark Bybee, Brittany Music, and Evelyn Van Hoos. Johnson County Sheriff's Department urges anyone to call with any drug activity, and you can, as always, remain anonymous by calling 606-789-3411. For high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family, a direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications. Recognizing some special students last night, an update on the Magoffin County High School project, attendance rates, a superintendent's report from newly hired superintendent of schools Scott Helton, all a part of last night's special session of the Magoffin County Board of Education. The meeting began early with recognition of 3 students, 3 author illustrators, if you will, that we've already featured in a report on their book signing here on Your News Today a few weeks back, but those being Emily York, Madison Ward, and Destiny Conley. Bill Cobb, the construction manager for the Magoffin County High School project, said that they are now entering into their 1-year warranty phase or period for the school. They are right now consulting with some kitchen appliance manufacturers, addressing some baseboard in the gym, which was deemed not accessible, and a list of other issues, loose chairs, desktops, and the like, with school personnel compiling a list and seeing that all these items are addressed before that warranty phase is up. Director of Pupil Personnel Brian Conley noted attendance rates, saying that as a district, they're right now averaging just over 94%, with North Magoffin Elementary, who hosted this month's meeting, leading the way with a 96.7% attendance rate. And in his report to the board, Superintendent Scott Helton went through his internship program, noting how it relates to goals, how funding can best benefit each child, and other aspects.
I've already met with every school, and I've met with principals, and I've talked about our goals and our values and what we set and where we want to achieve. Now, when you're talking about gaps in our scores and things, I have received the test scores for this past year. I've got the schools and I have the individual, but they're not released to the public yet. But what I've been doing is kind of looking at them myself and analyzing them and kind of going through and seeing where are certain areas, certain subject areas like math and math and reading is what I really look at first, and I've been going through those. I've also went in on our web page, and if you look at it now, I met with some of the people in the central office the other day, and I felt that I wanted their input, and we've changed our mission statement. We've got a new mission statement now. We have a new vision statement, and we have values listed below that we consider core values of the Magoffin County school system and things that we look for and things that we believe that should be taking place. So those are listed now on our webpage. We're going to start adding to their webpage, putting some more things on there, but these are things that I'm working on, and part of that comes back to what I'm talking about here. All of these things that I'm talking about, I've set clear and high expectations. I'm trying to make sure that my role is to explain to the schools and our district personnel, central office people, what I expect as the superintendent of the school system. And one of the things that we're stressing, and you will hear me say it over and over again, kids come first, students first. And when I say that, I'm looking at, and when I look at things, I want to look at things from their perspective, what benefits the children of McGoffin County more than, it's not about me or a teacher or a principal or this or that. It's about students first. Now, without principals and teachers and things, we can't provide the needs for the students, but their needs comes first. And when we look at funding, it should be focused on how does it directly benefit or impact a child. That being said, I'm going through the internship, and one of the things they want me to go through is like this, and I've told you a little bit about what I'm doing. I'm trying to stress to all individuals when I talk to them what our goals are. We want to be a school that is viewed as putting students first. Their needs come first, and then we're going to be a district that looks at data, looks at where we're performing, how we're performing, and how do we best move forward and take the direction that we need to go. And the one thing that I want to try to express to you all is that I can't do it by myself. And we have some principals and leaders in the district that are very capable, very good leaders, and central office personnel that's been helpful with me, and we're all going to work together. The one thing that I will tell you is I'm going to keep them informed. We're going to all stay on the same page, and I have an ideal of what I want done, and some of these boys tell you, I don't mind telling you every now and then, this is what I'd like to see done. Right, Rose? So that being said, we're trying to start with the culture. We're changing the culture a little bit, and I can't be more pleased with what I've seen. And I sent a blanket email out the other day that I was appreciative to all staff, and I was sincere with what I said. I'm pleased when I go in a building, I see teaching taking place. I've seen respect given and received from students and teachers, and that's pleasing to me. We must have structure, we must have control, and we must have provide an environment that is safe for our students, but also an environment where it's capable of being an education environment where education takes place.
From there, a long list of change orders pertaining to the new McGoffin County High School. Financial Director Kevin Owens outlined a working budget for the ongoing school year, which was approved by the Board of Education, made up of 75% in salary and benefits. He says they're also working and watching very closely to try to predict utilities at the new high school. Even though it's a green school, they won't know until they go through the seasons as to whether or not there will be an increase or maybe even a decrease in utility usage. And they're trying to adjust for that cost. He also noted that the state requires a 2% contingency, and this budget right now reflects a 3.7% projected contingency fund. And lastly, the board discussed and approved to advertise for bid the clearing of trees, brush, and weeds back behind the new high school and between the high school and the football field. That was all before adjourning.